Welcome to the Bydmoc Review, where every movie gets a second viewing. Today we are taking a look at a 2019 horror comedy straight out of New Zealand called Killer Sofa, in which writer-director Bernie Rao tells the story of a killer piece of furniture that becomes enchanted by a girl and starts committing crimes of passion. I first came across this movie in 2020 at a time when I was really searching out low quality and straight up bad movies, as I tend to do from time to time. One thing that stood out to me about the movie was the horrendous line delivery and overacting that would put every high school drama club to shame. After the credits began rolling, I gave the movie what I considered to be a quite generous rating of 2 on IMDb. But with a little asterisk, because while I considered the movie to be of low quality in terms of the execution, I could not deny the pure joy I experienced while watching it. Killer Sofa had become one of my favorite bad movies, and I added so many quick lines and references from the movie into my own speech in a day-to-day life setting. Of course, most people had no idea what these phrases were in reference to, but somehow that makes it more fun for me. Going into this new viewing of the movie, I predict that my views will be largely unchanged. I still expect to have a great time watching it, and I doubt that I'll see any change in the acting quality. After all, this is a quirky Kiwi B movie, so let's see if that rating will change at all as we review Killer Sofa. From the very beginning during the opening credits, I was hit with the quality acting that I remembered from my first viewing, as we get what I can only assume to be aliens trying to mimic human facial expressions. And from there, it only gets worse. I believe that every actor on set was told to be as dramatic with their physicality as possible, and it really stands out with 2 actors in particular. The Jewish rabbi, played by Jim Baltax, seems like he was just a homeless man who happened to be on set for the day. And the boyfriend, played by Jordan Rivers, should get an award for really getting across how inconvenient it was when his character needed to swallow a pill, but did not have any water left in his cup. Truly moving stuff. Line delivery is also top-notch, if we're looking for it to be terrible. Specifically from our lead Francesca, played by Pimio May.
They're not weirdos. They're just dedicated.
And our already mentioned rabbi.
I saw a young woman running through a forest. Some people were chasing her. She was in danger.
As I was rewatching, it struck me how there was really only one actor that I feel gave an actual decent performance. And therefore, I think it's important to recognize the best friend Maxie, played by Natalie Morris, as the only good performance in the movie. Jed Brophy as Inspector Gravy was okay, but the script just makes his character too
dedicated
to really stand out. Let's face it, none of us are here for the human characters. We want the sofa. Show us the sofa. Well, bad news for you. There is no sofa. It is actually just a reclining chair. 0 out of 10 for false advertising. Okay, so if we ignore the blatant lie that the title gave us, then how does that part of the movie hold up? After I show anyone this movie, the response is always the same.
I don't know what I expected.
There is something so special about this monster that they have created. This chair has a face, and the movie does its best to make it intimidating. You might be thinking that this is like the car Christine, and the chair just kills people that interact with it. Well, you would be wrong. This chair hunts its prey. It peers out of windows at people, it follows them to other locations, and it even stands up to walk into other rooms in order to commit its crimes. As a side note, I know that my last movie-focused video was about a family-friendly movie, so I should probably make it very clear for those that have not already pieced it together. This is not a kid-friendly movie. There is gore, there is violence, and the entire movie is extremely, well,
Horny, baby.
There is a soft-core scene in this movie in which the lead has some private time with the recliner. That's not a joke. That is an actual scene in this movie. So the question is, do I still think it's a bad movie? Surprisingly, my mind has been changed on this. When I originally watched, I think I was looking for a bad movie. And so I failed to look into any other option. I just decided ahead of time that because of the plot and trailer, that the movie was going to be bad. Looking at it in this viewing, I now see it as more of a parody, and in that framing, it works very, very well. Even many of the performances that I had criticized earlier become better when viewed through the lens of parody. Towards the end of the movie, you can tell that the script is leaning into that angle, as there are many genuinely comedic moments, including one of the best scene transitions I have ever seen during an attack. A classic scary movie style joke playing into the idiocy of the lead.
How can I help? Okay. I'll call for help.
And an intense climactic confrontation involving the blowing out of matches. I refuse to go so far as to say the movie is great, as there are still some big flaws present here. Baltax as the rabbi, even with the parody lens, is still a questionable performance at best, and there are many technical issues when it comes to scene continuity and lip syncing. However, I think that the story is solid, and the comedy is very intentional, which changes the way I view the end product. One way I think the movie could improve is to maintain the parody feel from start to finish. As it stands, the beginning of the movie tries to sell itself as a more serious attempt at a horror setup, which is part of why I believe my initial instinct was to say it was a bad movie. As a final rating, I believe I have to give Killer Sofa quite a substantial boost, up to a 6 on IMDb, but still with an asterisk, because when it comes down to how fun the movie is to watch, Killer Sofa remains one of the most enjoyable viewing experiences. Get a group of friends together for a movie night and put this thing on. It's so easy to laugh with.